Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a live edition of Matter of Opinion. I'm your boy Walls P.
I'm your girl Erica.
Now, on today's live, we're going to be addressing or debating on a myriad of topics. First, we're going to be talking about Carlishia Hood, the woman in Chicago who was attacked by a man, and her 14-year-old son came in, shot the person. And currently, the charges have been dropped, and Miss Hood is looking to sue the city and law enforcement. Another thing that we're gonna address is justice for AJ Owens, who was killed by her next door neighbor by the name of Susan Lawrence over an iPad with the children, a back and forth bickering. She's facing charges. So we're going to have a debate on that. And the last topic that we're going to attack today is an NYC student that snatched the microphone at her graduation from a white administrator. So we're going to tackle these things and we're going to have a nice debate on these. So, Erica P., are you ready for this debate where I hand you some hot L's today?
Man, you know you about to get these L's. I don't even know why you even
Nah,
starting up.
we got Niche in the building. What's going on, mamas? Those who are tuning in, let your presence known. We thank you for joining us this evening on this live episode of Matter of Opinion. You could have been anywhere, but you're here with us. So, without further ado, let's get into this debate. All right. So, the first topic we have Carlishia Hood, a Chicago woman accused of telling her teen son to shoot a man at a hot dog stand when a man attacked her. And she is suing the city and members of its police force after murder charges against her and her son were dropped. Now, her and her son, I know Carlisha Hood, 35-year-old, she was held on a $3 million bail at Cook County Jail after the charges were dropped. And this took place on June 18th. Now, she was inside this hot dog stand. Somehow, her and this guy got into a back and forth altercation. He wind up telling her, "Yo, you better be quiet, or else you're gonna get these hands." He wind up punching her several times in the face. While she was getting attacked, they reports say that she was calling for her son. The son came out, saw what was going on, pulled out his gun, shot him a couple of times. In the midst of the son shooting, the mother was telling him, "Hey, shoot to kill," pretty much, and then wanted him to shoot other people that she thought were involved and instigating things. At that point, he snatched the gun away from her, got into the car, and they wind up leaving. Eventually, they turned themselves in to law enforcement. So let's look at the breakdown of the things that happened on that night. So there you have Miss Hood pulling up to this hot dog place. So now you're gonna see her inside. She's taking her order, and that hand that you see right there in the corner, well, you can't see it now, but that hand, where is it? So the hand you saw in the corner was this gentleman right here. So you're gonna see this altercation that they have, and this dude was like getting very, and I mean very angry, threatening her, and things just went to the left. So let's check it out.
Get your food! Who? Get in the car? Who? Nay. Get your food! Get your food! If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh my grandma, say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out.
So right there, we paused it because YouTube like to demonetize and strike channels. So we paused it right there so that we don't actually see the violence. But the man hit her about 3 or 4 times, something in those numbers. I think like about 3 or 4 times. So this is where the son walks in. So he looks to see what's going on, see his mom's getting attacked, pulls out his gun, and right there we paused it so that you don't see the gunfire. Now, right here, this is where she was telling him to go inside and shoot the other gentleman. He refused to. She took the gun, was going to look to shoot. He took the gun from her and went back to the car. Now, at this point, he goes in the car, and soon after, she's going to get in the car. And from there, they went home. Later on, they turned themselves in. Now, since the charges have been dropped, video footage showed them reuniting and having a very long embrace, and it was kind of heartfelt, being the fact that this woman was away from her child for 5 or 6 days. And I don't know about you, Erica P, but to me, that seems like that would be a lifetime. Do you agree? Disagree?
Oh, I wholeheartedly I agree. You take me away from my kids for more than a day or two, I'm gonna be feeling it.
So here's that embrace. So you run up to each other, boom. See them give a long embrace, happy to be out of jail. Charges dropped. So boom. Yes. Now, Kike say, do we have a source for that supposed conversation? Well, if you look at all the news articles, and not only the news articles, the police report states that this is the conversation that was going on while the shooting was taking place. And Facebook user, sorry Facebook user, it just say Facebook user. It doesn't say who you are, but I appreciate you being there, being, in this live. Join us on YouTube, help that algorithm grow. Facebook user said he's an honor student as well. And Kike say that's why she's suing. Well, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna have a debate on that. But there's that embrace. Now, the news articles break down everything that took place, and they will also back up what I said as far as the police report and everything, saying that, hey, the mother was telling him to shoot to kill. That's what the mother instructed the son to do. All right. So Kike say, I'm just curious if everyone's source is the media. Look, unless you was there, you're not gonna know. But I didn't hear anybody come out and contest that this reporting was inaccurate. We tend to, when we side with somebody for their actions, we tend to turn a blind eye, to sources or whatever the case may be, just to justify our thought process in our mind of that person being vindicated, so to speak. So if I'm a diehard fan or I fully support somebody, you're gonna have to put insurmountable evidence to me to make me change my mind. And I think that's what we're going through with this, who's the source conversation or debate. All I know is this is what the police reports say, and this is what media outlets are saying. I'm not CNN, we're not Fox News. Look, we're not a media outlet. We can only go based off the information and the facts that's provided. So with that being said, apparently now she's going, with her being freed of these charges, she is pretty much going to sue the city and the police station. So here's that breakdown.
After Cook County prosecutors dropped murder charges against a Chicago mother and her teenage son, that family is now suing the city.
They say the charges caused them great harm after they were in jail and in juvenile detention for 5 days. CBS 2's Asal Rasai was at the news conference where Carlishia Hood talked about her pain.
The mother in this case, Carlishia Hood, just released from jail yesterday afternoon, understandably emotional at the news conference here this morning. She broke down as she talked about what her life has been like since the shooting inside the Pullman restaurant. Her attorneys saying the attack was unprovoked, and Hood is the victim in this case. They've filed a 4-count complaint against the city of Chicago and the officers involved. It includes malicious prosecution, false arrest, and intentional infliction of emotional distress.
My life changed. My son's life changed. I've experienced pain in many ways that I would never have thought, never. What happened to me was totally unnecessary.
The family asking for space to heal as the case plays out in court. They say
All right. So that's the breakdown and the gist of everything that's going down. Now, I'm I'm assuming, Erica P, you agree with me, or we're in agreements. Jack, I can't talk today. We're in agreements that the 14-year-old boy did what he was supposed to do. He saw his mother being attacked, and he acted accordingly to defend his mom. I have no quarrels with his action because he's looking to protect his mother. Are we in agreement there?
We are agreeing there, yes.
Okay. My issue is with Carlishia Hood.
Yes.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that she should be free of the charges?
This is the thing. She's the owner of the gun. She's the one that was
Mhm.
being attacked. But unfortunately, your son is the one who pulled the trigger. So to me, that's a hard conversation. It's a hard conversation because one, if I'm like, I feel like it's hard because I don't ever want my kid to have to pull a trigger to save me. That's the hard part. Second thing is, you're telling this little boy to shoot to kill. The problem that I have with that is, yes, if you're pulling a trigger, you have to be willing to do that. But grown up decisions don't know what kind of effect it's going to have on a child. So
So
to
do
me,
you
that's going to be the hard part because in his mind, he's trying to protect his mom, but then the conversation that you're having as he's trying to do it is different too. The kid almost was the parent going, "No, I can't give you the gun back because you're trying to go shoot other people." So it's like it's a catch 22.
so where do you stand? Because you sound like you're standing, in middle ground. You either
I
on
am in
the
middle ground
one
because
side or
this is the problem. I'm standing in the shade of gray. And the reason that I have to stand in the shade of gray is yes, somebody attacked me. My kid came to my defense. I feel like the words that came out of her mouth did not come on the strength of you're standing up for me. Because once you made the attempt to try to go after bystanders, then that's a problem for me. Because now you're based off of emotions and not based off of what was right. You were attacked by one person. If that's the person that you say, hey, it's self defense or whatever claim you want to claim, it should have only been targeted to that one person. If your kid didn't stop you, how much further would it have gone? Would you annihilated everybody in there at that point?
see, we don't do hot and cold here. So I hear what you're saying, but at the end of the day, what is your ultimate conclusion? Do you think she should have been charged, or do you think she should not have been charged?
She should have been charged.
You think she should have been charged?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ultimately, because somebody lost their life. If he shot him and it just disarmed him and put him down for a split second, okay, it was self-defense. But you basically told him to shoot to kill. So because you told him to shoot to kill, to me that looks at the circumstance differently.
See, she shouldn't be charged. The reason why I say she shouldn't be charged, yes, she was barking commands at of him basically shooting to kill. But those shots that were fired, I believe, were shot while he was in the store. Two shots were fired, which hit him, and the boy and the guy, the 32-year-old, his name is something Brown. Um, but anyway, yeah, Mr. Brown was running away and he later died. So even when they went in the parking lot and she was saying, "Hey, shoot him, shoot to kill him, and go inside and shoot," she never did it. So yeah, she was saying, "Hey, do X, Y, Z," but at least the boy had the wherewithal not to do it. So how can you charge me for a crime that didn't happen? And at the time of her getting attacked, she's looking at, yo, I'm being threatened. My son can save me. So, yo, take actions to neutralize the threat. So they did everything that they were supposed to do because the threat was imminent. He literally was attacking her. And the son, justifiably so, grabbed the gun and act accordingly. So even if she said, hey, shoot, kill, whatever the case may be, he already took the shots and he didn't pursue to take more shots. So why should she be guilty for such actions?
Like I said, for me, it's hard. It's hard because it's one thing if the son was the one being attacked and he acted accordingly. The mom was being attacked and the son came and saved you. So I don't know. That to me is hard. Now, if you're telling me charges on the son, no. My answer for that is no. But I feel like because of the words that were coming out of her mouth, it's something completely different. Because it wasn't, hey, come save me. If you would have said, hey, come save me, it would have put me in a different mindset. But on the flip side, it's like, hey, if you are the one that's pulling the trigger, you have to be conscious about what you're doing. And the problem is, I can't hold the kid accountable for the actions of the adult telling them what to do.
I guess my thing is put yourself in this woman's mindset. Here you are ordering food. You get into a back and forth with a gentleman, and in this case, not a gentleman. And then he starts to punch you, and he literally cocked back. At that point, you're not in a state of mind where you're thinking, logically. You're thinking irrational because you're
I
being
get that.
attacked.
I
You get
get
what I'm
that.
saying?
I've been attacked. But my thing is, at the end of the day, it's get out of here and get to safety. That wasn't your mindset after that.
So, okay.
You
So
went
what
from
charge
being
so what charge do you think she should face then?
I don't even know. The problem is I don't.
Endangering the welfare of a minor? I don't
Well, and
know,
that's what I was gonna
because
say. That
the
like
gun is there, or a misdemeanor, a felony. Like, what level do you think would be justified as far as charges she should face?
whatever is the lowest on the totem pole. And the problem is I don't know enough about the laws of Chicago to say, hey, it should be a misdemeanor. Hey, it should be a this. I don't want to give her jail time because you're right. She was attacked. But I also feel like she has to be held accountable for the actions too. And I don't know how to do that when she was the one being attacked initially. Because at the end of the day, yes, you were attacked. You could have left out. You could have drove off, and that could have been it. You didn't do that. You were attacked. Your son came in, did what he did, and then you potentially wanted to go for more, and your son stopped you. So, and I think that's what is triggering me because it's like, hey, if you really felt that threatened, once your son came in, you would have got in the car and dipped off. You
I can
stood
see
outside longer trying to get back into the circumstance that you just left.
your point where she became the aggressor. But yes, you're absolutely right. The son did save her. So the fact that the 14-year-old son did take those actions, I don't see why, you know, any actions could be taken. That's like me saying, "Hey, yo, let's go rob this bank. I got this gun. Let's go rob this bank." And you like, "Nah," and pull me back, scale me back or whatever.
But the same
Then
thing,
no
but think
crime,
about
no
it though.
crime.
The same thing happens for any other gun user though. If something happens with your weapon, you are going to be held accountable. It's a
Yes,
registered weapon to
yes,
you. So that
yes,
means the person who
you'll be held accountable, yes, but this was a justifiable shooting. Now, if he just randomly went inside and started shooting people, then of course she's going to be held accountable. But this was a self-defense, so he can't be
okay.
held accountable. You get what I'm saying?
No,
I get
like I said,
your
I
point.
get what you're saying. It's just on the other end, it's like, okay, you would we're dropping charges. We're saying it was justified. Where do you go from there? Am
She's
I still
looking
gonna
to
be able to
sue. She's looking to sue.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. So now from there, I'm looking to sue because guess what? I was justified, but it took you 5 days to figure that out. I was a registered gun owner, so you already knew it was in my possession, or I had the permit for it to be in my possession. So now it's okay. You're suing. Am I okay with you getting a large judgment for something that you did? I don't know. Because my thing is, think about how long it takes for cases to go through. Think about how long it could have took to get the footage from the restaurant, camera footage from other people. Like, that stuff takes time. What was I supposed to do? Let you be home while this was happening?
The thing is, I can never get my time back that was
Correct.
taken from me. So that's what it all comes down to. It's the American way, baby. If we don't like it, then we got to change the laws as they are. But as of right now, as it stands, that boy saved her. Because I agree with you. Her actions of saying, hey, shoot whatever, that was out of pocket. But the fact that the son saved her, it is what it is. That's where I'm at with it. He saved her butt. But we'll continue to follow this case and see what happens with this case and everything like that. Is she going to get the money or what? We'll see where this lawsuits go. So, switching gears now, we're going to talk about a story out of Florida about a woman by the name of Ajike. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Ajike Owens. Ajike Owens was basically shot and killed by her neighbor by the name of Susan Lawrence. And the way the story breaks down is they've been having a back and forth for about a year or two, a back and forth. And Susan Lawrence, she had a problem with AJ's kids. So for a year, they're going back and forth. It's reporting there were racial slurs, whatever the case may be. I don't know. But I do know what led up to the shooting was the kids were playing, they were very loud, and Susan didn't like that. So she was complaining, going back and forth with the kids. Somehow she wound up taking their tablet, their iPad, and they continued to be noisy. So she threw roller skates at the kid. The kid went, told their mother. The mother came knocking on the door. Without any warning, she shot and killed AJ for knocking on the door. As of right now, the charges, she's not facing second degree murder. She was going to get charged for second degree murder, but the charges has been dropped as of right now. But she's still facing up to 30 years for killing AJ. Now, let's watch this clip that's gonna break down, what went down and pretty much wrap it up in a nice little bow.
Right now in Ocala, an investigation is underway in a neighborhood feud that ended with a mother shot and killed right in front of her own child. It is a case investigators say could be considered stand your ground. They say Ajike Owens had a years-long feud with one of her neighbors who constantly complained about Owens' children. They say that something happened with the children on Friday. It's not quite clear. And when Owens went to confront her neighbor about it, investigators say that woman then shot her.
I wish our shooter would have called us instead of taking actions into her own hands. I wish Mrs. Owens would have called us in hopes we could have never got to the point in which we are here today.
She took a personal item, iPad, tablet, electronic device that belonged to a child. He tried to retrieve it. She threw skates at him. What does a child do? He goes home and he tells his mother.
They say that's when Owens went and knocked on the woman's door and she was shot. They say her 9-year-old son was standing right next to her at the time.
She has been arrested. She's here on our campus here. She's being there. My detectives are finishing up with some interviews with her at this time. And then once they have concluded, she will be escorted into the county jail. You know, the whole time we had only one side of the story, okay? We know that she shot through the door. Of course, on her side of the story, she makes claims that her life was being threatened. And the way the laws are written in this state, and this is what people need to understand, is our hands are tied in law enforcement in these cases where we are instructed that we cannot make the arrest because we have to rule out whether the shooting was justified or unjustified. So one of the biggest things is the interview of witnesses, and some of our witnesses were the mother's kids. And obviously we were not going to interview them that night after watching their mother be shot and killed.
58-year-old Susan Lawrence is charged with manslaughter with a firearm, a first-degree felony with a maximum sentence of 30 years in prison. This is Lawrence's mugshot. The arrest follows a day of protest over the death of Ajike Owens, who was killed after being shot through her neighbor's door.
So there we go. So yeah, the murder charges has been dropped. So she's still looking to face up to 30 years. So my question to you is, do you believe that, first I'll ask you, do you believe that this was racially driven?
So I looked up this story one time before. The cops have came out about 6 times in regards to these two neighbors feuding with each other. So I, on one end, feel like each one of them was targeting each other. Because
So
you're
do you
not going to
think it
have.
was racially driven?
Do I feel like it's racially driven? Yes.
Mhm. Okay.
I feel like it's racially driven because of where the kids play. It was in between where they stay and where this lady stays.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it was because it was a property line issue. I don't like that type of stuff. I don't know because no one ever came out about that. But if the kids always play in this area, as a neighbor, you're going to see the kids in the area. On the flip side, it's like if you're hostile to kids, what did you expect was going to happen? You're not going to mistreat some kids and think the parents are not going to come over and come talk to you.
Which is gonna get to my point. Do you think that she should have been facing murder charges or some type of charges for killing AJ Owens?
So this is the thing. Because it's Florida, you have to substantiate the self-defense law first. Then you also have to think about it. It is one of those stand your ground states. So they have to go through all of that gamut first before they can make charges. Then you also have to think about what, if this is a case, in front of a jury, what they can prove. And that's going to be the problem. You don't know if they're going to be able to prove the murder charges. Yes, she drew the weapon, but because it wasn't like, hey, I'm standing right in front of you and pulled it, it's a little different. Because maybe at that point, she felt that she was threatened. You come over to my house, you banging on my door. You don't know how loud she was. You don't know how the type of language that was coming out of people's mouths in the heat of the moment. So because you don't have a video showing all of this, it's going to be hard to prove certain things. The other thing too is, in my mind, maybe they're trying to see what's the most they can stick onto her. The stuff that they could prove is probably what's going to generate
Well,
close to that 30
all
years.
she's facing is I believe the manslaughter charge. I can't remember what the other one is, but it's not a murder charge. But my thing is, as far as her facing charges, period, do you think she should be facing any type of charges for her actions?
Yes. You pull the firearm out. And it's not the first time that somebody's came to this house. So you don't know if the other calls were domestic or not. But it's been between the two of them. They've been called out 6 times between the two of them. You don't know who initiated each one of those calls, but 6 times, that means to me there's a history. And I feel like you just escalated the history between the two.
See, for me, I can see her facing charges for endangering the welfare of a minor, for throwing the skates at the kids or whatever, and taking the iPad or whatever. but I'm sorry for the shooting. I don't think she should face charges. The reason why I don't think she should face charges is because again, she said like what she said was like when she called not because she called 911 and everything like that, and she literally was saying she felt like she was threatened. Now, with that being said, the reason why I say I don't think she should face charges is because we do not know how AJ approached this woman's door. Because I'm gonna speak it from my perspective. If my neighbor who I've been feuding with for God knows however long took my son's iPad, threw roller skates at him, my son come tell me, if I go knocking on that door, I'm not doing a love taps. I'm gonna be banging like a wild man. So with me banging like a wild man, that person may feel threatened. And with the Florida laws, I probably just justifiably gave that person the right to take me out. Unfortunately, it is what it is with the law. So,
That's what I was gonna say. That's the biggest thing, the way these laws are written. Because if I can bend the law to suit me, anything I do can be justified.
see,
And it's hard
but
to say that.
but here's the thing. Do I believe she should face charges? Absolutely. But if we're going by the letter of the law, I don't think that she should. Because like I said, I'm putting myself in the shoes as the parent whose kid was attacked. I'm going over there like a wild man and I'm gonna be banging on that door like crazy. So, and especially if we believe that it was racially driven, you got a black woman coming knocking at your door after what you did to her child, her cub.
But see, that's the problem. You can't initiate it and then be mad and want to use the stand your ground law. You
But
can't do that.
yeah, but you know how it is. You can be the aggressor, but the minute you're no longer because she was the aggressor at the time, they all went home. She no longer became the aggressor.
But you still had the items. So technically you were stealing. Think about it. I wouldn't have came over to your house if my kid had their property. You stole my
Uh,
kid's property.
Erica P, what about the guy who stole from, I forgot, I think it was CVS or something, and the driver mowed the guy down with her the person in the store mowed the guy down with the car or whatever or something like that. I think I think, don't quote me on it. I think she's facing charges, but I know she definitely got fired from her job.
Correct. Because
And
think about it.
that was a case of stealing.
But companies have insurance on items. You cannot take the law into your own hands. So that's why that individual lost their job due to them going above the law. You can't beat a law for a person's job.
So why not call the cops and say, "Hey, this lady stole my kid's iPad"?
She should have done that. She should have. Think about it. The when you watch the news article, when you watch the news clip, he said it. This could have probably been avoided if each one of them would have called. And neither one of them did that time.
Like I said, you basically invited and gave the chance, or you gave the opening for said action.
Correct. You
I'm
gave the
not.
opening, but
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been an opening if the neighbor left my kids alone. It wouldn't have been an opening if the neighbor didn't take my kids' items. On the flip side is, yes, the kids left. They probably left it there. They probably got scared and ran away and left the item, went back to go get it. And the neighbor's like, "Hi, I got it. It's mine now." Because people can be vindictive. People can be spiteful just because.
yeah. I like I said, you make valid points, but at the end of the day, the last action that you did wasn't a good one according to Florida law.
Correct.
And it's a sad situation. Rest in peace, to AJ Owens. My condolences to the family, but it's unfortunate, and yeah, man, like that's why the murder charges didn't stick. It wasn't murder,
Correct. And that's what I was gonna
you know.
say. I don't see the murder sticking. I do see manslaughter sticking because manslaughter, you know, it it's something without malice. It's whatever the circumstance is that amounted to it. So I could see that sticking. You
Oh
did
my
it right in
god.
front of this person's child. On the
See
other
that
end is
see that could be what the that can I think that could be the sticking point, the fact that you did it in front of a child. But then
correct.
again, if he
And
didn't know, but I
it
don't know.
doesn't matter that you didn't know. And the reason is the door was closed, but you were on the other end. Think about how many cases where a bullet ricochets through someone's house or someone's apartment. Somebody's going to
But
be held
that's
liable
but
for that.
that but that's if it hits that child. It then hit the child. Because even if police officers are shooting in a car or something like that because they feel like they're threatened, if it hits a child, they're done. But if it hits, an adult or something and a child is there, they're not necessarily done. But well, the laws kind of changed now, whatever, so to speak. But pretty much if the bullet would have hit that child, she would have been done. But if there's a case where she feel like she was threatened, whatever, just so happened the kid was there, but the kid was never hit from the bullet or anything. It was just the mom.
Correct.
So I think it's a little bit different, but I don't know. I don't know how the laws go by with the kid witnessing, a death or whatever, a shooting or whatever the case may be. That I don't know. But I don't know. Something tell me she's gonna beat the case. I think she's gonna beat the case. We'll see. So, all right, we agree to disagree on both both topics. So we're gonna switch gears now to this last topic of the day, and that is a student in NYC college is slammed. She's slammed for snatching the microphone from a white administrator, and the video has gone viral since then. And people are giving her backlash because she's an OnlyFans model. So it is what it is. But her name is Katie Iman. Yeah, her name is Katie Iman, and on a viral TikTok video, she was seen wrestling a microphone out of a white staff member's hand while fellow graduates stood in line to receive their diplomas. And her reason for doing this is she claims that for white students, that the administrator was, letting the white students say what they got to say, but when it came to the black students, she'll put the mic up and take the mic away real fast. So she grabbed the mic and was like, "Hey, this is my time. You're not gonna ruin it." Yada yada. And there was a lot of backlash. So here's that video clip, and in that video clip, she's gonna go into breaking down why she did what she did. So let's check it out.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. You didn't let me get my moment, so I want to say my name is Carlishia Hood, and I'm graduating today. I don't like how you snatched the mic out of my hand, so today is going to be all about me.
Oh, drops the mic. Congratulations!
So, here's my story time. Basically, what happened was, I was walking on, and we had to announce our names and say our name before we get on the stage. So, I was saying my name, and she literally, my name is long. My name, obviously, I have like 3 syllables in my name. I'm not gonna say exactly my name right now, but okay, just so you get a point. So I didn't even finish getting to say my name. And then the people that went before me and everything, they all got to say their name, their major, and even extras. And me and another girl noticed that she was pulling the mic down super fast for some black people. I don't want to be that person, but that was the tea. So, I mean, I just couldn't let her I just couldn't let that happen because I just feel like I worked so hard to graduate and went through so much shit to graduate that I just felt like I had to reclaim my moment. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not a problematic person. I don't want to ruin no one's day. I don't want to violate anybody, but that's what she did. She didn't even let me finish speaking. She put the mic down, cut me off, and that was the only time I was able to speak. So I just feel like that wasn't right.
All right. So you saw what happened. You saw her explain her side of things. Do you feel she was justified in take or the actions that she did?
This is hard. So I do feel like she was wrong because there's a time and a place to do that. Doing that at the graduation is not the appropriate time and place. But do I also feel like the administrator was wrong for what they did? Yes. If everybody else is saying their name, their major, you have a list, or you did some kind of notice of the students that are coming. You got it written down somewhere. So, no, you should have allowed everybody to say their name, their major, if that's what everybody's saying. If you didn't let the person get their name fully through, that is a problem. And I get what she said. If my name is long, I want to say my name. Do you not understand how many times you go to a graduation and the names are butchered? So I understand that too, because they didn't take the time to have the students explain to them, hey, this is my name, or write it phonetically if you go and butcher it. That happens all the time too. So it's like there's no right way for that commencement to happen. But you should have been fair. If you're telling me I wasn't the first person they did it to, then yes, your emotions may take over. So I do feel like she's wrong for snatching the mic the way that she did, but I also felt it was justified because you let her have her moment. It takes people years to get out of school. I feel like that's a slap in my face for all of the hard work that I tried to put in.
You sound like you on both sides of the fence. Pick a
No,
side, player.
I said she was wrong for snatching it. I said that.
But
She's
yeah,
wrong from snatching the mic. But I understand
see,
why she did it.
I don't think she was wrong. I'm sorry. The reason why I don't think she was wrong is because if she would have if she would have even tried to attempt to handle it differently, how would she handle it differently? Number one. Number two, her day would have still been ruined. No matter how you slice it, she would have left there feeling some type of way because this is her graduation. She didn't get a chance to say what she wanted to say, none of that. And if she would have let it walk away, filled out a report or whatever the case may be, who's to say something would have probably happened or not? Because okay, we'll make a note of it, but they're looking at it as you graduated. This went by already. So would there in fact bring any change? No, but if you make a statement like that, she didn't curse at the lady. She didn't put her hands on her. She grabbed the microphone, said what she had to say, mic drop. That has more of a resounding impact where people will look into it as opposed to if she would have just took her lumps or whatever, not lumps literally, but if she would have just sat down and say, you know what, I'm writing a letter. Who's to know
But
the
I got
actions would have.
but
Go
I
ahead.
got you on though. I guarantee they ain't gonna have that moment no more. The student is not gonna come up and say their name and they major ever again. Because that's a
How do you
liability
know?
on this. Oh, I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna happen again. And it's
I
not
guess
gonna
we'll have
happen
to
again.
see.
But this is you ain't even let me tell you why it's not gonna happen again.
hmm
That's a liability for the school at this point. That means the students are too close to the administrator. So once they see this video, they're gonna be like, okay, as we are noting this stuff up next time, we know not to have the student this close to like because those things usually trigger the afterthought. You might have paid your stuff. You ain't get that degree on that day. They ain't give you that piece of paper yet. So you could have did everything that you
They
needed
can't
to do.
they can't deny you of it because you put your time in. You paid. You paid your
Okay.
dues.
But you do realize there's code of conduct issues at school too. That was not part of the code of conduct. You could have potentially put that person in harm. You snatching the mic. What happens if you snatched it and she fell?
But she didn't.
I get it, but those are the other things that could have potentially happened.
Well, they may change it up, but I guarantee you they're gonna work. They probably gonna work something out where people can say their piece because it's their day. They done pumped all this money to get this degree, and you're not gonna let me have my day. I
But to,
guarantee you. But I guarantee you, if that school do that, they're gonna lose a lot of students. And
no,
once you start affecting your bottom line, so you mean to tell me people ain't gonna look at it as, yo, my graduation is affected?
but you
You
do
know how
like
many
most of the other schools, though. The student don't say their name. A school administrator says the name. The major scrolls across the screen, and you walk, you change your tassel, and you go.
But that's not how they did it there.
Correct. But what I'm saying is they may not do it that way again. They're going to start looking at how do we prevent this from happening again. So to prevent it, it's to nip it in the bud.
Well, if everybody's on equal playing field, where some of the people that she said was walking or whatever, and they got to say their names in the school, all that, and everything wasn't equal. If this is what it's going to take for things to be equal, then it is what it is. At least it's an equal opportunity against the board. Everybody's on equal playing field, and
Right.
that was her whole argument. So if you're saying that's what's going to happen, guess what? She made her statement and she got the job done.
Right.
So it is what it is. Look at that. I persuade you. Handing out L's left to right, baby. L's left to right.
That one wasn't an L.
You agreed with me. I persuaded you to agree with me. That's an L. That's a W for me. Look, it ain't my fault you was talking both sides of the fence today, trying to set up shop so that even if I make some valid points and hand out L's, well, I said this. Nah, you ain't slick, Joker. You caught L's.
That mean I still won. I still won. I still took the W.
Oh man, but yeah, that was fun. But yeah, man. With that being said, that's gonna be the end of tonight's live. See, it was a short one today. It wasn't a long one where we kept y'all out, for 2-3 hours. Nah, this was a short live, impromptu live. And yeah, we definitely will be doing this again soon. Like I said, we're not full-time YouTubers right now because we got our own jobs. We got well, not our own jobs, but we got our jobs to do, family, the whole nine. But we definitely will have these debates on current news topics and stuff like that. So, with that being said, anything that you want to say, Erica P, before we sign off on this live?
Nope. Just thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody in the comments. I appreciate people saying, "Hey, we see you. I see you."
Yes, yes, yes. With that being said, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Once again, this is Matter of Opinion. I'm your boy Walls P.
And I'm your girl, Erica.
And we will catch you, ladies and gentlemen, on the next episode. Peace.
It's a matter of opinion.